What is up? Welcome back to E&E Teachers. Today we are talking about data talks. Specifically, I am talking about how to very efficiently and effectively conduct data talks with your students. I know sometimes as teachers, we have to present data to admin. That's not what we're talking about here. If you recently had your administrators tell you, hey, girl boss, I need you to have a data talk with every single individual child in your class, this video is for you. When you were told to have a data talk with every single student, I am sure you wanted to melt into the floor and cry because you said, I don't even have time to plan my lessons or grade my papers. When the heck am I going to have the time to do one-on-one data talks? What are you talking about? And not only do we have to do one-on-one data talks, we all know if it wasn't documented, it didn't happen. So this is the way that I do data talks. I have done this at 2 different schools for 3 different admins, and it was in 2 separate districts. I have never had any admin or any district person having a problem with this. I use it every single time, but just know I'm not your administrator, so maybe they want you to do something else. So what I do for data talks is I use a Google Form system. I do not think it is realistic for me to be providing instruction and also do one-on-one conferences after every single test whenever you're supposed to be doing this. So I have this Google form. I debated selling this on Teachers Pay Teachers, but it's just going to look different for every class, and Google Forms are pretty easy to create. So I just ask their name, their current grade in the class, what did they get on the test? So usually data is about test scores. So when I do this, I will usually print out their current grades so they can see it. If your district has really good technology and the kids check their grades online, mine does, I just like to give them a hard copy, you can definitely just have them log into their portal to do this. So this is mainly just to get kids to reflect on their data because children are not naturally going to be like, did my actions get me to my goal? So you kind of have to guide them into that thought process. So it just asks, what did you get on the test? Are you happy with the test? What did you do to prepare for the test? What are you going to do to prepare for the next test? Is there anything I can do as your teacher to support you? You can make this much more detailed if you want. If you're giving kids a breakdown of their test by standard, which I have done before, I'll put in what standard did you do the best on? What standard did you do the worst on? Why do you think that is? You can put in whatever questions genuinely need to be had during a data talk. I also find, call me the devil's advocate because here I am, I also find that doing it in a written format, you sometimes get better responses than doing it verbally. A lot of kids are very shy and they can also be really embarrassed about their data. So they don't really want to have to make eye contact with you and talk about this, but they'll be a little more open on a Google form. So what I do is I usually will just put a QR code up or I'll post this on Canvas or something. And then I only walk around the room and chat with the kids that I know need some help. So maybe someone who normally does well and then they did really bad, or someone who has not done great on any of the tests. While they're all working on this, I circulate and chat with them individually. I'm like, hey, because that way I'm still having the conversation. I don't have a one-on-one conversation with every single child. Like I've said, that's not very efficient and I don't think it's 100% effective. So while they're walking around doing their little Google form, I'll check in with those that really they do need a check-in. So then once they fill it out, great, we moved on with life. I usually spend about 10 to 15 minutes on this. It is so much faster to do it via Google form than to have a paper and go to every single kid one-on-one. To me, that just does not work. So you might be thinking, Miss Redacted, how the heck do I turn this into my administrator? They asked me for documentation. I need documentation. When you make a Google form, this is what will show up in your drive. This is a new Google form, so there's no responses. Normally, it would have responses right here. This magic button is going to be your absolute best friend. It says View in Sheets. What it does is it creates a Google Sheet with all of this information. You can send this to your admin. They're going to be so happy. They're going to be like, oh my God, it has the time, it has the day, it has all the questions, it has all the numbers. The admin is going to be so happy because administrators love an Excel moment. I did block out my students' names, but I did want to really show you a real live example. So I just removed any sensitive information from the kids. Also, make sure you are being clear in your questions because I put, what is your current grade? I met in the class. Some of them wrote, I'm in 10th grade, I'm in 11th grade. So we're all learning. Just make sure you're being clear with their questions and it will all show up like this. You might be asking, why does mine look ugly? You might need to wrap your text. If you click on a box or if you just do, if you're on a Mac, Command A, if you're on a PC, Control A, that will select everything. You can click Format, wrap, and then wrap. Normally, this is what it does. It has the overflow just go to the side. So if yours looks like this, click Format, Wrapping, Wrap, and it makes it all fit in the box so that you can see the entire thing. This is how I do data talks all the time. We do this a couple times a year, and you can see the kids really do give good advice. Talk slower, like period. I will talk slower. Can she put my help grades? I give them extra credit for coming for help, and I guess I forgot to enter the grades. Go me. But I just wanted to share this. I think it's really an effective way and a very efficient way to conduct data talks as a high school teacher. I understand the importance of data talks, but I'm a big person on if it's not realistic to implement, it doesn't matter how great it is if it's not getting done. And I think it's just kind of unrealistic to talk to every single child individually after every single test. If you're a high school teacher, you probably have over 100 students. That's a lot for one person's plate. This makes data talks much more manageable for me. I have hard data about what the kids wrote. I get to actually reflect on that data, and it's a good way for the kids to kind of vent and tell you what they need without feeling embarrassed. So I hope that this video was helpful. We live, laugh, and love data talks. If you have any questions, let me know, and let me know if you want to see more content like this.